Okay, everybody, welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series, Division A between PFM and ReGen Retro. We've got standings up currently. Right now, PFM in 8th position with 8 points, just holding on to the bottom of that 8th rank for the playoffs. And then ReGen Retro, unfortunately not on the screen. They're right there with Sky 5 with 5 points at number 13. So a win tonight for Retro would put them tied in that eighth place and potentially taking it over for PFM because of the number of map wins, the number of points gained. And obviously a win for PFM would put them further up in the standings. So in either case, this is a really helpful and important game. And it should be noted, ReGen Retro has fewer games played as well, so they are just a little bit behind on their matches total here. Let's see here. So right now it looks like we've got one team ready to go, and the other will be ready in just a moment here. So we do have a double header on the Nexus Gaming Series Monday Night Showdown. Make sure you catch those at 8 and 10 Eastern Time on the Nexus Gaming Series Twitch page. And if you didn't know, we've got a Patreon to support the Nexus Gaming Series and help to keep the lights on. Sometimes I feel it's unfortunate I don't get to listen to that, but that's okay. So we are going to be going to Infernal Shrines for our first map, and it looks like both teams are ready, so we'll go ahead and get this started. The map picks, just real quick here while we're working on this. BOE was banned out by ReGen and Cursed Hollow by PFM. Infernal Shrines is the map pick by ReGen. Alrighty then. So I did not get a lot of time to go scope out the two teams, so I'm not 100% certain what they play, other than what I've seen in the last couple of nights. Of course, last night PFM had a double header, which again, if you were watching that ticker at the bottom, they won one and lost one of those. So these points again are very important for PFM as well as ReGen Retro. Kale Thosban. Here I thought coming out of the Div C dregs that I was going to see something different, but Kale Thos getting first banned out in Div A. Probably not a bad idea. His living bombs can spread pretty easily off of those skeletal defenders. And the Anubarak ban. One of the top played and banned, I believe, tanks in NGS at this point. Really solid with his CC abilities, web, and his ultimately 4 potential stuns as you get heavy late into the game. Steve. Don't want those portals coming into their backline and having a fun time. And let's see what Retro wants to ban here. Johanna, so a bit of a tank choke here. Still plenty of tank options available, but the obvious one left is Diablo. Maybe a little bit of Muradin and Garrosh action. Our first pick of the game is Ana. Makes a little sense. Can't have Medivh teleport onto the back line and have a party right up in Ana's face. Garrosh and Orphea. So Oltanian's on the Garrosh there. Big Bird for that Orphea. Orphea's a hero I haven't seen a lot of play in our matches on either side. We've certainly banned her a few times, but with these kind of tight areas, it's not a big surprise. That can be really as significant as Kael'thas. Then we see the Muradin and Sylvanas picked up. Sylvanas doing just absolutely crazy amounts of damage, and followed by the Zeratul ban. So the few times I have seen Orphea, especially with the Garrosh, it's a big taunt with an Eternal Feast, maybe some other CC. You know, maybe they look at a Malfurion with the Garrosh, get the roots, get the Feast. Leoric, another big part of that, adds to the Feast party with an Entomb, and then Greymane with some blow up there. So this is where we're going to see the rest of their damage and their solo. I wonder if they'll go with the... Oh, they go with the Imperius, okay. And Junkrat. A little bit of disruption for the team. Pretty good poke damage. And the Uther. All right. So we could see a D-Shield Greymane diving in, going to town. Got a pretty solid front line to maneuver. Garrosh throwing him around into or out of the fray, as they say. Here we go. Alrighty then.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
For our red team, we have Aaron on Leoric, Deltron on Uther, Oltanian on Garrosh, Big Bird on the Orphea, and Masama, hope that's right, on Greymane. And for PFM, we've got Arya on the Ana, the Stroke on the Muradin, Gumby is on the Junkrat, Darabo on Sylvanas, and Mudge in the solo lane with Imperius. Here we go. Time for some fun in action. Garrosh looking to shark around, see if he can get a quick pick on somebody, but the only person that's really looking at him right now is Muradin, and he's not going to really cause any issues. We do have all 5 of both teams, Imperius choosing to come up, but he's decided he's going to top lane. instead of hanging out in bot. Alright, and Retro's going to go ahead and pick up on their rotations. A little bit ahead of PFM. Uther going with the Hammer of the Lightbringer. Garrosh is going to get a throw and a stun, but the sleep's going to get put on Garrosh, and Murden's going to leap away. No real big problem for him. Sylvanas soaking up this mid lane, keeping things a little bit ahead for PFM. They do have to soak a little bit ahead, especially with the Imperius up top early in the game. And Greyman's going to go ahead and rotate down. Leo a little bit behind in the Imperius. I wonder if that's just because he was late to the party, or he's just trying to pay a little bit more passively. We'll see. Looks like both teams are going to get their camps. A little bit more commitment on behalf of ReGen, as Sylvanas will get a little bit more XP out of the lane, and Garrosh is going to come up here to make sure they don't miss any of those minions. 3v3 in the bot lane. Both teams kind of scouting out this bottom camp. 4v3 with Sylvanas up in the middle. Leoric's going to come down and try to make sure that he double soaks these lanes. Leoric's getting chunked down pretty quickly, but so is Sylvanas. She's going to make it out with her haunted wave. Uther's going to get stunned in the back, but no real follow-up to beat that. And it looks like PFM is going to go ahead and get this bottom camp. Leo doesn't care. He'll mount up right in front of you. And they do complete that bottom camp as they head on up toward the first objective of the game, which is going to be, I'll tell you in a second, Mortar Punisher. They've got this camp and lane cleared up, so they'll be a little bit behind, a little bit late to that party. And Leoric still running pretty far behind on the health and the XP there. Already at 10 defenders on behalf of PFM. Thank you, Alice. Got Greymane coming in stealth, late to the party. Mudge is going to get tossed in, stunned, and Garrosh is going to go down first, but Mudge is still in trouble with the Imperius there. Leoric's going to change his mind about going in on it, and he's going to come back and try to stall out this front line. But it looks like he's going to go down as well, thanks to that Ana grenade. And Gumby with on Junkrat there, about half health, but no real potential chance for them to get in on him. They are rather stacked up though, so you can see why that Kale Toss is a good ban here. They don't want that living bomb spreading to 4 other people after the first target. First Punisher of the game goes over to PFM. And it will get jumped over onto Voltanian with the Indomitable. It's going to get hit pretty hard with the Honor Grenade. We're going to go ahead and beat this down pretty quickly with the Greymane. Murden's going to jump in, and he's going to get tossed in now. He may go down on this one. That was a little bit of an aggressive move. Level 7 talents out. Full biotic grenade build for Ana. Got possession from the Sylvanas as Retro gets out their safe camp. And full hammer build it looks like for the Uther. Wants to be up in melee. Getting that mana back. Don't have a level 7 talent from New York yet. Garrosh going to sleep, apparently. Just looking to get some damage with this camp. Nothing too exciting up here. And Retro's looking to post up, maybe make a play with this Garrosh toss. He's just going to throw Muradin out. Doesn't want any of that. PFM's going to go ahead and go back and grab their camp. And looks like this matchup in the solo lane generally pretty even, although it looks like Imperius is doing a good job of staying out of that ghost hand. We've got 4 members of Retro coming down to grab this bottom camp as the Shaman camp is picked up for PFM. And the ult's coming out: Riptire, Wailing Arrow, Avatar, Nano Boost, and Wrath of the Angiras. And there, PFM's going to go ahead and invade on this camp, but Leoric's coming up and he's walking right back out. Nope, didn't see it. I'm out of here. Nothing to see here, folks. And on Retro, we've got Taunt. It is Eternal Feast, Divine Storm, Entomb, and Greymane has not picked his. Let's see what he decides to do. Quick toss on the Shaman to make sure that the fort helps out with that. And we've got 5 members of Retro up here cleaning up the top lane, dealing with whatever they can there as PFM clears up this bot camp. Of course, it's a little bit more favorable for PFM as they're closer now to this shrine, starting in 10 seconds. And this one will be a Frozen Punisher. Muradin's gonna dive in, but the unstoppable out of Garrosh. No stun for you. Not today. Clearing up the lane, and now the Punisher's ready to go. Just waiting for somebody to summon it. Right now, we've got pretty even on the clear, but all right, well, there goes the Uther with the D-Storm, Eternal Feast, Big Taunt, and the Entomb, and it is still going as only Junkrat so far has died. There goes Garrosh. And Imperius is going to go down to the Greymane, but Greymane's got no health. He's got to back out. And Leoric as well. I missed the Uther death in there as well. Uther still showing on the map, of course, for a bit, giving his team some healing there. And Leoric's going to go ahead and go back. Got that full combo executed really, really well. Just didn't quite finish the deal. Muradin's saying, get back, Greymane, I don't want you up in here. And Big Bird on the Orphea there, trying to get as many as they can, just poke it out a little bit, but looks pretty safe that PFM's going to go ahead and get this. They'll have to defend it on the other side of this wall here. Greymane was looking to go back, but at this point, just not enough time. Muradin looking to break down this side wall so that they can get right in there. He wants to get as much damage on this Garrosh as possible as he gets stunned by this Celestial Charge. The Eternal Feast goes out on PFM. They're walking through it. It's gone. And Garrosh, once again, very low. But now Muradin, who was low and entombed, is out. Wrath of Angiras gets interrupted, and he goes down from the Go for the Throat, Greymane. And the quite well-played Sylvanas wave keeps her alive as Garrosh throws her in, and they will clear up this Punisher before it gets a fort. So a 1-0 trade in favor of ReGen Retro. And ReGen looking to post up once again on this aggressive camp with all of the members of PFM currently alive. They're not really, they're not sniffing this one out. They want to get this bottom camp, it looks like. Willing to trade those. Retro is willing to let him have it. Down goes the first fort of the game. PFM coming up here to maybe try to get something on this Leoric. Missed the Stormbolt. so they're just gonna go ahead and back away. Now is not the time for that. Looks like PFM's gonna go ahead and once again push to invade this shaman camp as Retro is in the bot on their safe camp. Lots of vision and protection here from the Junkrat. And Noltanian's gonna come up, but it's a little bit too late, and PFM is gonna sneak out the side. While PFM now will come down, clear out this mid camp. They do have their camp coming up. The next shrine is an Arcane Shrine, Arcane Punisher. Leo coming down here. He's looking for this Entomb at this point. They're all here. They've got pretty decent positioning for it. Gumby on Junkrat's going to get caught and obliterated as Greymane uses that Go for the Throat. Actually, I don't think he even used Go for the Throat. He just went and did all the damages. And Retro looking to go ahead and invade here. Imperius gets caught. The big stun from Uther will take care of Imperius now. Muradin's going to go ahead and pop Avatar, but unfortunately just too much CC, and they are going to go ahead and move in and take this camp. Get those Shaman going and get a little bit of retribution for the earlier stolen camps. Alright, and for the, I believe the first time, although I suppose the last time it was pretty close, but for the first time Retro is getting a significant lead on the Punisher, and this is a very strong Punisher. The Arcane Punisher with those extra lasers cause massive amounts of damage both to players and structure if you're not careful about your positioning. One stun out of those and you can find yourself at half health in a brief moment. Looks like PFM recognizes that they're pretty far behind on this. They're going to go ahead and let this go and get what they can, potentially working on this mid fort. The Orc's going to come down. I don't... Looks like they're all going to go down and try to save this. It's already gone. I don't think they can save this at this point. Or the threat is enough. They'll go ahead and get them out. Push up the bot lane a little bit as Muradin will do his absolute best on this Punisher up top. Ana makes it out. Junkrat makes it out. And here comes Retro to finish off this top fort. And Muradin's gonna get some damage. He pops the Avatar, jumps out, gets thrown back in and stunned. There's the Ana grenade. But unfortunately just not enough to keep Muradin with the Avatar alive. Ah, thanks Murda. Got it. I thought I heard it. I was pretty sure I heard it. So they'll get a little bit of damage on this keep wall. Get the towers down a little bit, but ultimately save any significant damage on that structure. And once again, Tanian looking to come down here and take PFM's camp aggressively with the Muradin down. Junkrat getting just enough to get the one Khazra over the wall there. Just a little bit too late to get any of the members of Retro over there. And Retro is doing their absolute best to make the circuit happen and get all of the camps. Their Shaman camp will be up in just a few seconds. It might be the first time in the game that they're able to get it. PFM just following slowly behind, making sure that they clear up any of the camps that are coming out, and looks like they're taking just a little bit of fort damage here in this mid. And Retro does not want to let them come up and get this Shaman camp again. They are going to hold it, which makes a lot of sense with this shrine being in the bot lane. They want to get as much pressure out of that as possible. And PFM very likely knows that they're up there. They want to have a bit of a bush party here. And oh, and the missed Stormbolt. Just barely. That bush gank, unfortunately, just didn't pan out. Had to have that Stormbolt land so that they could get the Imperious combo going as well.
Blue team has destroyed.
And there goes that second fort for Retro. Yeah, absolutely, Murda. This is going to be very, very favorable for PFM if they can get it. That'll get this bottom keep for sure. And Retro is trying to do what they can to make sure that it'll be a keep for them as well by pushing in this bottom fort. PFM coming down to try to stall or save what they can out of this, but looks like most of them are just too far behind to make that happen. And they will go ahead and finish off. Nope. They will partially damage that bottom well. Interesting. So PFM is electing to set up a bush gank of their own, knowing that Retro's got to come up and clear this shaman camp. And it looks like Imperious was going to dive in, but he just got tossed, and he is no longer with us on the Infernal Shrines. Imperious is going straight back to the heavens. Retro's going to go ahead and come in. They know they've got the advantage. They're level 20. And we've got the upgraded Taunt, the Executioner for Greymane, the Monster Within for Orphea, of course Redemption, and the Buried Alive. So if they can get this Entomb up, it's going to be a very, very bad day for PFM. Up to 32. They will get this Punisher. Leo's trying to clear out what he can of this lane. And they are as well going to finish up this bottom camp. They want as much push out of this as they can possibly get. That well did end up going down here. The leap away manages to avoid the stun from the Punisher. It's going to leash back, stand around for just a few moments. The Entomb misses everybody. And it's going to get some damage now here on this wall. I'm going to go ahead and cast Silence on my dog here. We've now got the Divine Storm with the Eternal Feast going down. Junkrat's going to get some significant damage on Greymane. Up here, Ultanian is walking away. He got chunked down pretty hard. This Punisher's going to get a two-man stun with a double taunt. And the Uther stun, they're really pushing hard as Stroke will go down on the Muradin. And Leoric will finish off Sylvanas. The Celestial Charge manages to catch Garrosh and take him out. But unfortunately, the other four members of ReGen Retro will come in. And it looks like this will be the end of the game in favor of ReGen Retro for Game 1. Whew. Not a big surprise with the those big, heavy CC talents, the Entomb and the Taunt and the Divine Storm, just sit around in this Eternal Feast and take damage. That's all we want you to do. And unfortunately, PFM couldn't quite get to that level 20 to finish up the rest of their talents, whether that was a rewind or... I wonder if we would have seen the spell armor from Imperious there for that extra survivability. Alrighty then, we'll be back in a moment as we get set up for our next game. Alrighty, we are going to Volskaya Industries for game number 2. First game went over to ReGen Retro on Infernal Shrines, and PFM went ahead and selected the map for this. That'll be interesting to see if they if Kael'thas makes a ban in this round. Chromie. So Chromie with her rework can really do a lot of damage with between her temporal loop with reduced cooldowns, if temporal loop, or the slowing sands with coupled with some of the other heroes like Raynor, where you get the slow bonuses, and then just the massive amount of Q damage she can put out when she has the opportunity to connect on a person who is not really interested in moving around a lot. And then Garrosh coming out from PFM. Let's see here. So Ana, so they didn't like those grenades. Those did have a pretty significant impact, especially earlier in the game, where they were getting those 1 or 2 kills, securing against the Leoric or Garrosh, making sure that they couldn't use their self-healing. And Medivh again. All right then. So last game, if I remember correctly, we had Garrosh was the first pick, and they want to stick with keeping their tank first. And again, Anubarak being a very heavy hitter in the tank arena these days. They're gonna play the Kael'thas. Okay. So Kael'thas on this map, with the teams being so focused in a tight area, much for the same reason as Chromie, can get a significant amount of value, making sure that the team has to run away from each other to not spread those bombs. And even as Qs, when you're in a confined space like that, you get the percent damage. It can be just absolute havoc. We see the Deckard and Orphea on the ReGen side. Again, a lot of potential CC, and this is a map where Eternal Feast once again can do a significant amount of damage. Tight corridors in some areas, like the top control point, and in some cases the bottom control point, or even just to cut off a retreat with some CC from the Deckard, and now you've got several chomps coming out. Not hearing game sounds on the draft. Let's see. There you go. Now you will. And the Raynor ban. And Malthael, if I didn't happen to mention that. Alright, Stukov, again, kind of the same concept as the Kael'thas, with the zoning, but with his silences. You also have a good disengage, whether it's with the flailing swipe or even just his one arm. They're going to go back into the Leoric and Greymane. So very similar draft in general, with just a little bit difference on the CC options with the Deckard and the Anub'arak. And what do we have left? Another damage. So Hanzo for Gumby. Right. Now we hear 2 songs. Got it. Thanks. Sorry, Murda. Didn't mean to overload your senses with the extra music. I think that's actually why I turned off the music in the first place. Alrighty, we'll start over here with the blue team first. On the left, we've got the Stroke on Diablo, Arya on Stukov, Darabo on Kael'thas, Gumby on the Hanzo, and Mudge on the Imperius. And for ReGen Retro, we've got Leoric as Aaron, Masama is on the Greymane, Big Bird on Orphea again, Deltron on the Deckard, and Eltanian on Anub'arak.
Let the battle begin.
A little bit smaller of a map, so we'll get almost all the action over here. And once again, 4v5 in the opening, with Imperius starting off in the bot lane. Doesn't want to fight too much into this with that low health Diablo. And first root goes out onto Gumby there. Diablo getting chunked down. He doesn't have a whole lot of health, so he's got to walk away. He will make it out, but still gets rooted. And it looks like Deckard did take this root quest as well. Raymond and Leoric looking to head down there, but maybe a little bit of miscommunication on who was going in the solo lane for this game. Looks like Beetle build out of the Anub'arak. And there we go. Now they're going for that camp. They were just a little bit ahead of the game earlier. No big deal. Nobody noticed. We certainly weren't watching him. Or if he's going to take the safe path up here. She wants to go in against this Kael'thas and choke that lane. Retro's going to get their turret just a little bit ahead of PFM. And that'll be up about a minute into the control point. So certainly the possibility of getting a second one, as they will also get their easy camp here. These camps don't do a whole lot, but they get you some XP early in the game, and they do offer a little bit of push. Usually in the time it takes for that 100%, you'll see that easy camp get, you know, roughly about halfway across the map before anything stops them. PFM's going to elect to fight on this heal camp. They're feeling pretty strong against the talent tier advantage of ReGen. And Anub'arak's going to burrow in. He's got the Flame Strike, but Stukov's going to go down, followed by Diablo. And by Flame Strike, I mean Living Bomb. That was ballsy, I think, would be the best way to put that one. Raymond is going to go ahead and get this camp started, as the Protector Zone has just started. Looks like PFM's going to go ahead and get theirs started as well. Theirs will be a little bit better timed probably to actually go while the control point is active. Raymond coming down, just giving a little bit of a push on Imperius here, but they are going to get him, I think? Maybe? Question mark? 150 health. No, they're not quite going to get him. MVP wall. Three members of PFM up here to scare off a little girl. Seems like a overkill. They do want to get the whatever value they can out of that camp. And Retro will go ahead and start the timer for their turn here. We did get a little bit for PFM, 11% as Diablo stood on there. Hanzo going in. He ain't as scared of no bug. 7 now up for Retro. PFM wants to get on this point. That root will miss Hanzo as he'll leap over the side there. Diablo just misses the stun on Oltenian. Once again, the missed root, the zoning root. Nubarak will dive in, stun 2 of them. Gumby's getting low here. Hanzo's going to get destroyed, and then Nubarak's going to follow him, losing that redemption stacks. It is contested here in overtime. Diablo's now going to go down as okay, and Imperius will also die. So ReGen takes the Protector, and Leoric and Deckard are going to go ahead and hop in there, get this wall down. They'll probably then go up to top, clear out for the next Protector. Kael'thas is already getting some moderate damage. It takes a little bit, and he doesn't have a lot of health. If he gets rooted and hit by that laser, it's a bad day for him. And we do see all 5 members of Retro coming up here to the top to make sure that this wall goes down, and hopefully that well. 4 out of 5 of PFM. Root on Diablo, but very little follow-up of damage. Correction as he gets put down to half. Punisher will come down and help to bring him down. Spreading some living bombs in the back line. You love to see it. The root just misses Diablo, and Retro will go ahead and back out with about 2/3 of the health done from this first top fort. And Imperius is going to get a little bit of damage down here, but not a whole lot. Mostly he's getting soaked to offset the fact that Retro is now almost a full level ahead of them. We'll see up here that Kael'thas is once again working on those lanes as this top camp is picked up by Retro and the turret camp picked up by PFM. If I remember correctly, okay, they did drop the support camp, and now with their 10s coming in, they are going to go ahead and be aggressive on this. And pretty much the same ultimates, except now with the Stay a While and Listen and the Cocoon. PFM is going to get 10 just a little bit before this next camp, and it looks like Kael'thas now completing his shield talent. That'll help him out a lot. And Nubarak's going to dive in on Hanzo, but he's going to just jump off the side. Just a little bit of damage onto Nubarak, nothing to write home about, but I believe he's still trying to work on those redemption stacks, so he's sitting at 6, he's got a ways to go. And Diablo completes his souls as well now, as Leoric's going to come up. Looking for that Entomb Feast combination. There's the double stun. 3 of them are close. Stay a while, but now Diablo's burning him, but that Eternal Feast, he's going to go ahead and get out of dodge. Just 1 or 2 extra ticks than they needed to. And Murda, let me know. I think I turned the in-game music back on. If I did not, make sure you mention that.
An getting another thermal.
Alright, and it seems like forever, but now this top control point's up. Diablo's gonna go ahead and charge in. He's gonna get the Deckard silenced, and the Imperius is gonna get a Celestial Charge on him, and Deckard will go down. Not the ideal time to get a death if you're Retro, but for PFM, this is a huge boon. They are probably gonna lose this. Nope, just probably 200 health on that fort, so they're really gonna have to be mindful of that. 200 health away from getting periodic catapults in that lane, and Retro, knowing that their Deckard is down, is going to go ahead and set up for the third protector in the bot lane by taking out this this fort down here. And of course PFM saying, that's fine, we'll take your top. And Retro's continuing to go in here. They've got beetles, they don't mind. They'll go ahead and get keep wall most likely out of this. And we're starting to see some hearts back here, so they're going to end up walking away from this here soon. As just Kael'thas ultimately will go back, but that is a significant benefit for Retro, as PFM doesn't even get this top fort down. Support camp coming back online here, and Retro's just going to make it in time to put this into overtime. Nubarak's going to burrow in. He webs the Imperius, the Diablo flip, and now he's going to go down thanks to the Entomb blocking him off from his team. And Retro will now start their channel on the Protector as well. Volskaya Industries, the map where you can feel like you're fully ahead and lose one team fight and lose the game. This is these protectors can be very strong, as both teams are going to go ahead and come in on the support camp. The Stay a While and Listen gets 3 members of PFM. The armaments going out to save Mudge. Pyroblast on Deckard, but he's not going to take that much damage. He's got some armor from his friends there. PFM will go ahead and get that support camp. Up to 50% for Retro now, and PFM's going to go ahead and come in here. They do have this support camp. They'll likely... There goes the support camp. New York in the silence. Stukov is webbed in the back. Diablo's low. Imperius is low. And the dive in on Diablo, he's going to go down. Now Stukov is in danger. He's going to go down. The Kael'thas stuck in the Entomb. And Janitor Leoric finishing off with a triple kill. Or at least providing the support to allow it. And Retro will get this top protector. Finish off that fort that just needed to be sneezed on. And they've got a lot of siege damage here with this Greymane. Everybody from PFM is now up. Gumby getting chunked hard. And they're just lurking around. They're looking for a Stay a While maybe here. Nope, Stay a While's in the thing. Diablo's down to half, but he's going to get caught by the Entomb. Leoric's by himself, though. Not going to be able to follow up and finish that. They really want this keep, and they're going to get it. Diablo goes down to the super punch out of the mech, spreading some living bombs, and of course the silence from the Stukov. Root is going to miss the Kael'thas, and they will disengage, leaving that laser as a present. About 7 seconds left, so just getting a little bit of damage on this mid fort. Not enough time to get any value down bot, and they will pop out of it. Stukov coming up here to soak this top lane, get the little bit of XP they can out of it. They're down 2 levels at pretty much 100% of those 2 levels, and Hanzo will scout out the invade here. Not a ton they can really do about it. They're spread out pretty far, and Retro's just ahead of them on that. So they do have now permanent catapults in the top lane, periodic catapults in the bot lane, and the next protectors is coming up from the bot lane, which means that this pressure up top is going to be significant, because while these points, while there's the benefit of having longer times on these channels, that also means that it takes longer and more catapults can stack up, and somebody's going to have to go back and clear those when you're in the middle of that. And ReGen, of course, deciding to hold on to this camp to make sure they can provide as much pressure there as possible when they go on this bottom protector. Quick kill on the support. They've got now 2 turrets. They're going to go ahead and just leave that support camp. Nobody wants it. And PFM getting down this wall and turrets, trying to get whatever value they can before this next protector, because this, again, for them, they've got to take this bottom fort down before they can really get anywhere. But Retro goes right to keep. Right to keep. There is no wall. Deckard going back to grab their camp. They don't want to potentially lose it to somebody sneaking over there. And working on this XP, looking for this catch up in the XP. They've got a ways to go, and we got another minute or two before this bottom protector comes up. So Retro is looking to get their level 20s before this if they can. Leo's soaking that bot what he can out of it. PFM knows this. They're looking for something. They need to get this fight. They need to alleviate this pressure from the top lane. Find somebody to isolate. Retro says, that's fine. We're going to come in and isolate you. There goes the burrow charge onto Kael'thas with the Greymane push. And Kael'thas will go down. Nice, quick, easy kill as 3 ults will come out from Retro. And now they will get started on this. Probably come down here to this turret camp.
Access terminal online.
With a significant, well, now 2.5 lead advantage. A moment ago was basically 3. And now, of course, their turret camp came up. So they could have 3, 4 turrets if somebody goes back to pick this one up. They have so many items, they don't know what to do with them. And level 20s are not far away now for Retro, so PFM, if they're going to get this fight, they got to do it soon. And this is the zone of death. This is where people just die down in this bottom control point, and Retro knows better. They may have 4 turrets and a support camp, but they want to wait for that 20. They want as much of the advantage they can possibly get, and it looks like they're going to get it. Rewind for the Anubarak. Buried alive for the Leoric, of course. Upgraded stay a while. Respect the elderly. Hunter's blunderbuss, and of course, Monster Within again. Diablo's going to charge in 1v4. He doesn't care. Unfortunately, that's a big problem for him. Eternal Feast is going to go down on the Hanzo, and Imperius is cleaving away. Kael'thas, they're all spread out, and Imperius is going to go down. Web onto the Stukov. Gumby's going to get chunked. Probably going to go down. Yep. Greymane finishing off the Kael'thas if he can catch up to him. And now the Stukov in the bot lane is going to go down. A full team wipe of PFM. And we only have 24% on this protector. So it looks like Retro is going to soak the lane on their way. Clear this fort. And Leoric's going to go ahead and hang out in the back. It's a long run all the way up around the top. I would have thought they would have just popped some beetles, maybe gone in the bot lane. They already had that wall down. They wasted a lot of time, good 20-30 seconds, as Diablo now is going to clear up those couple of catapults. Anubrak's going to dive in, get a stun on Diablo. Orphea's coming in with the chomp. No significant damage out of that. Imperius with a 2-man charge will back them off. And that long circuitous route is going to get thanks Rena, is going to get them the protector, but it's going to mean that now PFM has the opportunity to defend against this protector as opposed to just walking past that bottom, keep or even taking that
Blue
bottom
team
keep.
has taken control of a protector.
We've got Leoric and now Greymane. Nope, Leoric's not going to go in. Anubrak, they are playing some musical protector chairs here as Anubrak goes into the protector. PFM looking to sneak in behind them and get what they can. And looking for this Diablo charge onto the Orphea, gets her. Imperius is stuck in the Entomb though. Pyroblast is going to finish off Orphea, and Imperius is really low. He's trying to walk away. Gumby's going to get hit by the laser, and he goes down as Stukov gets caught by Deckard in the silence. And here comes the laser onto Diablo, and he'll finish off as well. 3 members of PFM down, just the one of Retro. They've got their 20s. They are looking to finish this out. Diablo back with his lesser health bar as he charges in on Leoric. He's just going for damage stats at this point, as both will get rooted and go down, and this should be the end of game 2. And now they've got Kael'thas. I was wondering, where's Kael'thas in all of this? He's here somewhere, right? That's right. He's off the board. He was in a cocoon, and ReGen will finish this game out. GG. Yes, indeed. Why do people ban a noob? Holy smokes. 3-22. That was a pretty heavy showing on behalf of the ReGen team. With that same combo, very similar setup as the first. Thanks for watching, Slexia. I appreciate it. Apologize for the dog in the background. She's not as friendly today. And let's see if we can get Voltanian or somebody from the ReGen team. Let's see. Thank you to each of the new followers here today. Kira, Nara, Rena, much appreciated. Well, maybe I'm going to connect to this. Oh, route. Okay, let's try... ReGen. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you could connect there, but I was having
Yeah, it
difficulties.
wasn't letting me either.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. Good deal. Hey, congratulations on your 2-0 victory. That's gotta feel good.
It does. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up with it, but that was actually our first 2-0. The start of the season, we've had the curse of reverse throws. So for the past like 4 or 5 games, we've won the first one like almost a stomp in a lot of them, and then the second game it's complete opposite. So it feels good to kind of change the tables around.
For sure, for sure. So this is your first domination victory. It now puts you in a tie for points with PFM.
Yeah, it feels good not to be so low anymore.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, and you guys were a little bit behind on the games as well.
Yeah.
So it looks like you guys had 5, and most of these teams are 8, 9, 7. So PFM had 6, so pretty equal on you. But that puts you in a tie, but it also means that you've got the tiebreaker with the points in case that remains the same, right?
Yeah.
So your drafts were very similar, both games. Obviously subbing out the Anubrak and Deckard in game 2. So what was the mindset of, like, for example, the sub out of the Deckard instead of the Uther in that game too? Was it because of their draft? Was it because of the Anubarak?
So we have this kind of cheesy strat. It's jokingly known as the holy hand grenade. It's when you take Garrosh, you into the fray the Uther onto the enemy backline, and then he does Divine Storm. So that's what our combo's kind of been, and it would be just try to get like the infinite stacks off of the Eternal Feast. But if we don't have the Garrosh, then we obviously can't do the throw with Divine Storm. So the next best bet would be to Deckard with the roots to just kind of keep them in place forever too.
That makes sense, and I think I missed the Into the Fray, although thinking back about it now, I do recall in that first game at least once where there was a Divine Storm just out of nowhere. Where did it come from? It's in the middle of the team, so that's obviously what happened. But you guys really comboed those quite well between the Eternal Feast, the Divine Storm, the Taunt, the Entomb, which those Entombs, I have to say, for the most part, were really solid. Whether they landed or whether they were zoning, keeping that Diablo on that top control point. Aaron, I believe, was playing the Lure, correct?
Yeah, he's pretty good at landing those Entombs. It helps with the whole idea of kind of keeping him in place for a long period of time.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys didn't miss much. I mean, you pretty much every time there were 2 or 3 abilities that managed to keep them locked down in place. So you guys did a fantastic job with that. What on that first game, you guys had a couple of points there. I believe the first control point went over to them. You lost a couple of Shaman Camp. Was there anything you mentioned earlier, the reverse throws and all that? Was there anything going through your mind at that point about early in the game kind of pushing against you?
Kinda. Our kind of macro was off a little bit, at least in the early game. Our rotations, I think, were a little bit slow when it came to clearing waves and doing camps. So they kind of got the leg up on us. So it was really smart of them to kind of invade the bruisers. We kind of, after the first time, we knew it was happening the second, so we didn't really try to stop it. We just kind of went for value bottom.
And you did that again in game 2 at that top control point with Deckard down. The PFM went up to the top, and you guys elected to go to the bot lane, finish that bottom fort, and then push that keep wall. And PFM responded with getting some damage on that top fort, but certainly not nearly the amount of value. And then you still went up and got the protector anyways and just took it out. Were you thinking that timing-wise that you needed to make that happen for the next protector, get as much value as you can? Is there anything else that was going on at that point?
Mainly the thought process behind that was that they have to leave someone behind on to for the point if that's what they want. So we're gonna win the race on them, on structures. But then at like the same time, they didn't have as good of a racing comp. I mean, I know a noob Greymane is really strong for pushing buildings because of the constant beetles. And so we were okay with actually at one eventually, like we waited to see if they were hearthing. We were gonna go straight through keep and kind of just race to core if they didn't decide to respond.
And of course, they sent one person, Kael'thas, and the rest went back to the point. But it still opened up a nice avenue for you there for that third protector. And I got one more question for you, and it's just shortly after that, you guys managed to get a full team wipe against PFM in that bot lane. Leoric goes back to the control point, and you guys take the longest route known to man to get to the core. You had that wall down in the bot lane. Was there a point where you guys were like, maybe we took the wrong way?
A little bit. Yes. So we thought it was going to be much quicker. I forget Old Sky is a little bit bigger, than Tomb is. But yeah, it would have been better just to go straight through keep rather than going all the way around. But game kind of still went our way, so it was just something to kind of keep track in the future.
Indeed, yeah. So just that one slight adjustment with the even though the keep was still up, you had the Anubarak beetles. Could have maybe taken the keep if not the core, if there wasn't really enough time. But it took a long time. They were dead, and we're back up within 5 to 10 seconds by the time you guys got there. So good 30 to almost 40 seconds to go all the way around instead of the 10 to 15 to get there. So yeah. Well, hey, listen, you guys played a fantastic match. Both teams put up a good fight, and but ultimately you guys came out of it the victors. Get your 3 points. I am stoked to have been a part of it as a ReGen member myself, and glad that you guys could put up a good show. So with that, if there's anything else that you'd like to say or any shout outs, by all means.
I just want to shout out to my team members for kind of keeping it cool, especially Big Bird. He's always been a really good motivator on our team, and if things get a little bit heated, he's always the first to kind of calm everyone down. So thanks to anyone who kind of watched our game here, and that's pretty much it though for the shout outs I got.
Sure, good deal. Well, thanks again, Oltanian, the captain for ReGen Retro, and part of the ReGen brand family, so to speak. Good games again tonight, and good luck with your the rest of your matches. I hope you continue your upward trend here.
All right, thank you for casting our game.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so that's the end of the show, everybody. The ReGen Retro coming out 2-0 over PFM and bumping themselves up in the standings to that 8th position, just inside the threshold of playoff positioning. They have a few more games, so we'll see how far they can make it. Thank you again for stopping by and watching today's matchup between PFM and ReGen Retro. And if you didn't catch them earlier, there are a couple of games coming up in the next few days on the Nexus Gaming Series site. And I can't remember the other one. But make sure to check the calendar for tomorrow's game. And have a great night.